All right. Greetings and welcome, scholars. And I am Professor Charles Pfeiffer, and welcome to College Algebra 2 for Morehouse Online, Module A1 for the spring of 2026. This is going to serve as an updated syllabus review / orientation because when we meet in 2 days, we're not going to really have a lot of time because, the schedule, because we lose that day because of the King holiday. So I have to rely a little bit more heavily on my pre-recorded lectures. So let's take a look at this. So this is Math 115 College Algebra 2. It's a course designed to continue to provide the students with fundamental concepts of algebra, which are essential for all higher mathematics courses. After completing this course, the student should understand the concepts and know how to apply the knowledge of inverse, rational, exponential, and logarithmic functions. Topics also covered are sequences and series, arithmetic sequences, partial sums, geometric sequences and series, and the binomial theorem. The prerequisite is Math 105 with a C or better, or by mathematics placement. That's College Algebra 1. Okay. So if you took College Algebra 1 at Morehouse, then right now we're still using the same text, Rati McWaters. And you should have used My Math Lab, so you shouldn't have to purchase full access again. But we're going to be using My Math Lab. So let's hop over to the digital campus to see how to access this. So your landing page should look something similar to this. I don't know that is proper. Let's see if this link works. So you see my office hours there. Let's go ahead and start there, actually. So for the spring of 26, my office hours are Mondays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you were local, I might be in Dansby 201. In either case, if you're trying to reach me, you can use my office cell phone number as listed or my email there. I always encourage students to email me, but I'm going to be honest, I am not good about checking emails. So that's specifically why I created an office cell phone number, so you can call or text at any time. And then that's the best way to get my attention. That way I know that it's a student trying to reach out to me. Okay. So, just call or text and, we'll be able to link up. Didn't do it right. Okay. So then, and let's view as a student. Okay. So we view the office hours. Let's see if this link works for Access Pearson. Okay. So Pearson is how we're going to be doing pretty much all of our remote learning management system. Is our remote learning management system. So that's how we're going to do our homework, quizzes, review homework, and exams, right? So I'm going to click on Open Pearson. Yours might, if you've used Pearson before, just log in with your credentials that you had before. And typically with Pearson, if you're doing a different course that is using the same book, you don't have to purchase full access again, but you do need full access. If this is your first time using Pearson or using this textbook, then you have to purchase full access. But many of you, you shouldn't have to purchase full access. Oh, it's not letting me in because I'm in the student mode. Okay, hang on. Okay, so, but again, you just follow the prompts, and I'm going to go ahead and open it so you can see it. Okay. So once you get into Pearson, you should see pretty much I have all the assignments for the entire module available now, with the exception of exams, right? And I tried to group everything that you're responsible for. I pretty much put it in this list that you see now. So pretty much your entire grade comes from this list. So you just need to make your way through all of these assignments throughout the entire module. If an assignment says practice not graded in parentheses, then that's just for practice. It's not going to be factored into your grade. And the assignments are grouped based on units, all right? So you see for your unit 1, we have those 3 homework assignments, the review homework, and then the review quiz. And then as we get closer to that due date, February 2nd, unit 1 exam is going to become available. So let me share this following update or disclaimer on the exam. So the exams have 2 parts, all right? Part 1 is only 1 attempt, all right? And it's using a remote proctor in Pearson, right? So again, everything is going to be here in Pearson, but when you go to access part 1 of the exam, you have to either be on a desktop computer or a laptop computer. So it's not going to work on like a tablet or a cell phone or anything like that. So you have to either be on a desktop computer or a laptop computer to access part 1 of the exams. We get 1 attempt, but there is a caveat, right? I highly recommend that when you're taking the part 1 of exams, be sure to obtain a copy of each of your questions. And then if you show your work, right, and the formatting is you might have something like your header or title. This is like Unit 1, Test 1, Part 1. And then your name, the date, whatever. Here's a copy of question 1. Here's the supporting details for question 1. Here's my final answer in a box. Here's a copy of question 2. All supporting details for question 2. Here's my final answer in a box. You pretty much do that until you get to the end. So again, as you're working through part 1 of exams, you want to kind of be building this document. And then to submit that, let's see if we can find that. So if we hop back over to the digital campus, and if we go to the modules, let's see, it's not that one, right here, where it says the show your work part 1 of exams. So say you're doing test 1, part 1. After you finish creating your showing your work like on handwritten paper, then you're gonna scan it, right? So take a picture of each one and crop it so that it's nice and neat, not just a random picture that's not cropped. And then what you can do is basically you want to make a single document. Don't load several images. All right. And so what you can do is like open up something like Microsoft Word or Pages if you're on iOS. Load each cropped image into that Word document or into that document, and then export that document as a PDF and load it into its respective folder here. All right. So when I go to look for the part 1s, right, and so those show your works, that's to recover partial credit. I can't tell you how many times I've had students that get like really low scores on the part 1s, but then they show their work and like a D might transform into like a high B or even higher, right? So again, for the part 1s, even though you only have 1 attempt, you can recover a partial credit. It's not mandatory, it's optional, but it's highly recommended to show your work for each one. Again, please do not load several images that are uncropped. As you kind of take a photo or scan your documents, you got to crop them. So it's not difficult. It just takes a little bit of learning curve, but crop your images so it's nice and neat and it fills up the screen. And then take those cropped images and load them into like Microsoft Word and load each cropped image, expand it on each page, right? So you have one single document. Export that document as a PDF, load that single PDF here. And then that way, when I go to look for the show your works, as long as you follow that script or whatever, follow those instructions, then, I'll try to recover as much partial credit as I can. So what that means is if you got a question wrong, I'll go back and look at your document and see the work that you did on how you got your answer. With the show your work, I'm not concerned with the right answer. I'm concerned with how you got your answer, right? Because if online, if you're submitting one answer that's wrong, but then your show your work is perfect, and I'm going to be like, well, this isn't telling me how you got your answer, right? So that means you could just put anything on the exam, but then try to recover points retroactively, right? So what's going to serve you more is make a nice, neat document showcasing how you got your answer. You're going to get more points showing me how you got your answer than just giving me the correct answer, right? Because this is how I try to get some feedback to get a sense of where your headspace is, right? So I'm just trying to help you trying to see where we went wrong or whatever. Okay. So yeah. So again, exams have a staggered release. So they release as we get closer to that February 2nd date. Okay. So those are the exams. Aside from the part one of exams are 80% of each exam. Part two of exams are unlimited attempts, and those are 20% of each exam. Okay. And aside from the part one of exams, everything else are limited attempts. All right. So part two of exams and everything else you see here, unlimited attempts. The system is set to take your highest score, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And on top of that, all assignments have an automatic extension already built in. So if you submit something past the due date, there's at most a 5% late penalty, so you could still earn 95% even on late assignments, right? So most assignments are unlimited attempts and only a 5% late penalty. Sometimes with those part one of exams, if you're submitting those late, you have to reach out to me directly. So you can attempt to try to access it. Also with that web lockdown browser, you have to be on a laptop or a desktop computer. Oh no. I don't know. Maybe, oh my goodness. I might have to come back and crop this. I need to figure out a way to do a do not disturb, but I'm not gonna worry about it right this second. I'll just come back, try to crop it or something. Let me think. I know we were talking about the exams. Oh, so when you go to do the okay. So with those proctored exams, let me see, you have to be on a laptop or a desktop computer. And so when you go to access the part ones, you're going to be prompted for, you have to install a Pearson web lockdown browser and extension. And so the recommendation is to use Google Chrome, right? So you're on a laptop or a desktop computer. You go to access part one of exam when it becomes available. And then you're going to be prompted to install a Pearson web lockdown browser extension. So it's highly recommended to use Google Chrome. If you're working, so I do all of this on iOS devices. Make sure that you have, you allow cookies from Pearson and you allow pop-ups from this site. And if you're not on iOS, it's something similar where you have to go to your settings, allow cookies and allow pop-ups. Okay. So getting the web lockdown browser set up is a learning curve. That's the first challenge, a first hurdle. But then once you get it set up and running, then it's kind of smooth from there forward. Okay. So again, aside from those part ones, everything else is unlimited attempts. The system is set to take a higher score. There's an automatic extension built into all assignments with only a 5% late penalty. Okay. You can kind of procrastinate a little bit, but it's not recommended. I had one student that tried to wait. That the procrastination can be extremely hit or miss. I've had students that procrastinated. One set successfully got their assignments in, another set didn't. Right, so they had to redo the course, right? So it's not recommended. You have plenty of time. Now is the best time. Also, you don't have to wait on us to have the lecture to get ahead, right? So like, for instance, if you try to do this homework off the rip, I guess I'm gonna crop it anyway, so I just need to crop it. Yeah, I just need to crop it. I don't have to splice it. Right, we might not have done 1.7 or the lecture, so there is a way to access our full lecture. Let me see if it's here. That's fine. So there is a way to access the full lecture, and you can actually and basically anything that I intend to say live is already in my pre-recorded lectures. So let's hop back over to the digital campus if I can get it to right here. Right. So we're here back in the digital campus, and that link at the bottom that says Beautiful Mind Pfeiffer, all pre-recorded lectures. So you could actually watch those. Again, anything that I intend to so with the pre-recorded lectures and the My Math Lab, this course is really designed for independent learning, or leering, as the early leering. I don't know if you know that whole scandal with the Michigan or something like that, Minnesota, Minneapolis, somewhere up there, the Somalians scamming. Anyway, forget about all that. But yeah, you can use my pre-recorded lectures to get ahead. Again, anything that I intend to say live is already in those pre-recorded lectures. So you can actually start, like literally right now, use that link and go ahead and start watching the lectures, take notes as if you're in class, write down your questions. You can either ask me the questions during our live sessions or just text me and or email me. All right. So with the all pre-recorded lectures, you can go ahead and watch the lectures. That'll set you up so that you can go ahead and do the corresponding assignments. And then anything that you see me writing is going to be available in that third link that says lecture notes updated daily box link. Also, our daily live sessions is on this left-hand panel over here that says Zoom live sessions. So you use that link and that'll take you to our daily live sessions. Again, anything that I'm going to be writing, I'm going to load a PDF here where it says lecture notes updated daily box link. You can find it there. So the digital campus kind of serves as a central hub for everything for us. My office hours is a document. All of our assignments is in that link too that says Access Pearson, all assignments, My Math Lab. So that everything is there. If I'm going to load a PDF, like a copy of the notes or anything, you're going to find it in that third link that says box link. And then my pre-recorded lectures are in YouTube, right? Whereas this link will, this presentation will be as well. And then our Zoom live sessions are on the left. Another way to access Pearson in case that Access Pearson link doesn't work is this link over here on the left that says Access Pearson as well. Okay. Honestly, I really think that's the meat and potatoes of everything. Let's hop back over to the syllabus to see if there are any other details that we're neglecting. Okay, so we talked about the assignments. So then the grading rationale. The first category are exams. There's going to be a total of 4 exams. Again, the part 1, you get 1 attempt. It's worth 80% of that exam. You have to use a web lockdown browser, so you have to be on either a desktop computer or a laptop computer. 1 attempt, but that's the one where you want to show your work. Nice, neat, legible, right? If it's chicken scratch, it's going to be harder for me. It's going to be, just being honest, it's going to be harder for me to read your work and find and recover points, right? So just try to be neat, presentable. That actually makes a big difference. So for the show your works. And then the part 2 of exams are unlimited attempts. And system is set to take your highest score. So those 4 exams for Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, their total average is going to count for 30% of our overall grade. Next, we have the midterm. Midterm also has a part 1 and part 2. Same deal. Part 1 is 1 attempt. It's worth 80%, yada, yada, yada. Part 2 is 20%, unlimited attempts. Part 1, you show your work. The midterm exam counts as 20% of our overall grade. Then the other assignments, like our homework, review quizzes, I don't think I have any study plans assigned, so you don't have to worry about that, but it should be homework, and review quizzes. All of those, the overall average of those assignments counts as 20% of our overall grade. Unlimited attempts, system is set to take your highest score, only a 5% late penalty. So you pretty much have 8 weeks to get these assignments in. I just have due dates. If you miss a due date, the highest you're going to earn is a 95%, which I think is reasonable. And then the last category we have is the final exam. Same deal, a part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is a remote proctor. You have to be on a laptop or desktop computer, 1 attempt, show your work, all right? Worth 80% of that exam. Part 2 is unlimited attempts. The show your work is only for the part 1s. The final exam counts as 30% of our overall grade. So we have a total of 6 exams. Those 6 exams make up 80% of our overall grade, right? By the end of it, okay? So now we have 8 weeks to get this done, but there's a little bit of a cushion, right? So a few notes here. Number 1, your midterm exam grade replaces the lower between your exam 1 and 2 grades if it's higher. Now these replacements and drops and bonuses and things, I only apply them at the end of the module, right? So at the end of the module, like at the very end, if your midterm grade is higher than either exam 1 or 2, I'll replace the lower with the higher. That's the first note. Note number 2, your final exam grade will replace your midterm grade if it's higher. After that, if your new midterm grade is higher than either exam 1 or 2, I'll replace the lower with the higher, right? Okay, so let me say that one more time. Once we take the final, if your final exam grade is higher than your midterm grade, I'll replace the lower with the higher. Then in turn, if that new midterm grade is higher than either exam 1 or 2, I'll replace the lower with the higher, okay? And then note number 3, after all of that, if your final exam grade is higher than your overall lowest exam grade, I'll replace the lower with the higher, all right? So potentially, depending on how the numbers fall and how well you do on the final, your final exam grade could potentially count for 4 out of our 6 exams. That's huge. That's like a Hail Mary, right? And I think this is reasonable. I feel like this is reasonable. This is something that was agreed upon by my colleagues at Morehouse, where the idea is that, if you're able to grasp this content or material within 8 weeks, because this is a semester's worth of content in 8 weeks, they feel like you deserve to move forward. So you don't want to rely, you want to try to create as much of a cushion as possible, but as a last Hail Mary, right? Because, we have lives and life happens, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of hardships, right? So we try to make as many opportunities for people to get through as possible, which I think these are reasonable. Because again, this is a 8-week course is accelerated, right? You have half the time that the traditional students have to get this done, but it's doable. I've been doing this for a few years now, at least 8 semesters. 8 modules. That makes more sense. Yeah. Students have been, they always it's a little jarring initially, but they most usually catch on, and by the end of it, they're good to go. When completing my math lab online assignments, if you think you got a correct answer marked incorrectly, just reach out to me and I'll review it, but only for like the part, honestly, you can challenge them. Okay. I was tempted to say, only do this for the part 1 of exams, but that'll automatically happen if you submit to show your work, I'll automatically review your part 1 of exams. Anything that you got wrong, I'll automatically go through and try to figure out what happened, right? So as you show your work, you got something wrong, I'll review it and try to recover partial points. All other assignments are unlimited attempts. So you just kind of got to figure out, why is it marking it wrong? And then just attempt it again, all right? Because you get unlimited attempts, system is set to take your highest score, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And honestly, that's part of the learning process, that repetition. You want to be frustrated, but not too frustrated where you just completely shut down. Also, it's recommended that you devote at least 12 hours of uninterrupted study time towards this venture. So that's like 4 days of 3 hours uninterrupted at a time, or 2 days of 6 hours uninterrupted at a time. But again, the recommendation is to commit approximately 12 hours per week committed to this uninterrupted. That's at a minimum. It more than likely is going to take more than that. I do encourage you all to collaborate. You can work together. I encourage you all to do a group me. So as you listen to this and as we meet, if somebody wants to spearhead a group me, I think that's a fantastic idea. You've already paid for tutors at Morehouse College. So just reach out to the mathematics department and say, hey, I'm trying to connect with the tutors. And they'll give you instructions on how to connect with the tutors remotely. And you can take advantage of their service. It takes a little bit of gumption and calling around. But I think it's like Microsoft Teams. Once you have the students' names, then you can search for them on Microsoft Teams, find their office hours, or make use of my office hours. My office hours are Mondays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I think it is. It's 4 hours. Yeah, 9 to 1 on Mondays. Other times by appointments, I mean, you don't have to adhere to those office hours. You can call or text me anytime, even in the middle of the night. Most times I'm up in the middle of the night. I'm usually up. If I'm up, I'll reply, or if I'm available, I'll reply. If I'm not available, and this I'm referring to like text messages. If I'm not available, then I'll reply as soon as I am. Text message is the best way to get my attention. Email is more for record keeping, but email is like snail mail. If you're going to send me an email, you might as well send me a message in the mail, in the USPS, all right, in the mailbox. But that's specifically why I created this dedicated texting and calling line, so then I know it's a student trying to reach me. Let's see. Okay, we talked about everything else being unlimited attempts. And then there's one additional extra credit opportunity at the end of the module. Provided it doesn't skew grades too much, I'll do all of these. I use them with my discretion. So one final extra credit opportunity is that your overall My Math Lab grade, if I can apply it, I'll scale it so that it counts as 10% of your overall grade. So potentially you can earn up to 110% out of 100%, right? So you have a potential to earn more than 100. That's just like a little fail safe, making up words, right? Trying to talk too fast. But yeah, so those are the notes that I definitely wanted you to be aware of, okay? And then the grading rationale is as normal. Basically 90s are A's, 80s are B's, 70s are C's, so on and so on. Officially passing the course at Morehouse College is a C or higher. C minus is, then you're in that gray zone where some programs allow you to move forwards, but many do not. So we rely on My Math Lab for asynchronous practice, okay? And again, the learning, I've already sent out an announcement with some other supportive videos on YouTube that I came across recently. Like one was this woman explaining how she overcame math anxiety. There was another one that was just about like breaking bad habits I thought was interesting. We're not really, our attendance checkpoints, we're going to be meeting live. So, that's how we're going to do that. And I just went on to remove the group project, so you don't have to worry about that either. We already talked about the late submissions. Again, all assignments have an automatic extension. There's only a 5% late penalty. You don't have to request it, just submit it. You don't have to explain it. It's an automatic extension built into these assignments. So as long your goal is to just get everything submitted before the module is over. Right now you have right now you have more than, it's approximately 8 weeks. Yes, 8 weeks, yeah. Okay, these are the topics we're going to be going over. If you need any special accommodations, you can contact Dr. Sadler, as you see at the end of that paragraph. Attendance policy. Let me see. You're expected to attend and participate in a once a week synchronous session in Zoom, being fully present to contribute and engage. You're expected to respond to assignments and other course requirements on time. Students who do not complete the course attendance requirements within the drop-add period for the course will be dropped. So basically what that's saying is like that first session, if you're not there, you could be dropped and it could be a pain to get back in. You may or may not get your money. Like you don't want, the best thing is just to show up. Show up early and just relax. Also, students can be administratively withdrawn at the discretion of the instructor for students who do not complete major assessments by the midterm without refunds, right? So just be careful with that. The honor code and academic integrity. Long story short, it's just not worth it. Just do the best that you can, right? I know that we're remote and we try to put in some safeguards to kind of counter that. But, keep in mind that like if you just have complete and total lack of academic integrity, this stuff will come back to bite you. I know that we're remote right now in a non-traditional proctored environment, but at some point, and I know that many of you are already kind of in your careers and workforce, but if you have a lack of academic integrity, then you're kind of setting yourself up to yoki-doke, and it will come back to bite you. even though right now we're not like in a traditional proctoring environment, you never know when you're going to be in a proctoring environment responsible for this. Many times I've had students that would get out of my course and then they go to, now I know that many of you are already in your fields, but again, you just don't want to waste your time and money by having a lack of academic integrity. But I've had students that go to apply for their first job, and the first thing that they give them when they're in the interview, the very first thing that they give them, here's a math test about all the stuff that we've been talking about, right? And so, like, it's not super rigorous. You have unlimited attempts. Just try to learn as much as you can, and then you can collaborate. Like, it's not as rigorous as it sounds. You just have to kind of push and try to learn. Try to have as high academic integrity as you can. Try to learn as much as you can, and then on the back end, but just adhere to the deadlines to get everything submitted. Another case recent in the past 5 years or so, where that lack of academic integrity came to uproot people's lives. I don't know if you remember a case with the president of Harvard University, where the president, it surfaced that the president plagiarized on their dissertation, and they basically plagiarized. So then they didn't finish their coursework. I think Harvard has a zero tolerance for academic for plagiarism and things of that nature. So as the president of Harvard, they lost their job due to a lack of academic integrity from something they did eons ago, right? Even I've experienced it where I go to apply for a job and they're calling Morehouse to make sure that the things on my transcript match, for analysis 1 and real analysis and all this. I was like, dang, they had to call records and all this other stuff. I was like, yeah, nigga. I was like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about, but it was just, but part of my French. But yeah, this stuff, it will come, it kind of goes with you. So the best thing is just do your best, forget the rest, don't stress and be blessed, right? Keep your academic integrity as high as possible. But again, in this context, it's okay to collaborate. It really is. Just try to learn as much as you can. And the other thing with that Harvard story, the person that ousted the president and it took their position, surfaced that they plagiarized too. And I'm pretty sure that they got ousted as well. Right. So, it's just it's a ticking time bomb that just kind of follows you. It's not worth it. Right. It's best if you just try to keep your integrity high, cross your T's and dot your I's, just do your best. Okay. Okay. That's fine. And then, so basically throughout this module, we'll be going through a total of 10 sections, right? And so each unit is basically 3 sections. So for instance, unit 1 is sections 1, 7, 2, 5, and 3, 1. Then we have quizzes and a unit 1 exam. And then unit 2 is the last 3 sections in chapter 3. So 3, 2, 3, 3, and 3, 4. Review homework, review quizzes, unit 2 exam. Then we take the midterm, which is chapter 3, chapter 2, and chapter 1. And then after the midterm, unit 3 are those 3 sections in chapter 6, unit 3 exam, and then unit 4 is the single section 9.5. Review homework, review quiz, and unit 4 exam, and then we take the final. So, honestly, right now, you can go ahead and just try to, my recommendation is you want to try to get as far ahead as possible. Use my lecture notes as needed for each corresponding section. If you're using the lecture notes, take notes as if you're in class, write down your questions. You can either call or text me the questions or just ask me during class. Try to have the questions that fit with each section, right? So don't ask a question from section 3.2, but in the class we're on section 2.5. If you have a question from 3.2, if you're ahead of us, just call or text me outside of class. But if we're on that section during class, that's the ideal time to bring up a question regarding that section, if that makes sense. All right. All right. So that's the long and short there. And here's our tentative course schedule. So today is the 10th. So we meet on Monday the 12th. What is that at 7 p.m.? Okay. So that Monday the 12th, we meet at 7, and I don't mind meeting at 7 that day, but then the following week is the King holiday, but then the week after that, on week 3, we have to start meeting from 7:30 to 9, because there's a time conflict with my calculus for business course. They don't let out until 7:15, and we're supposed to meet at 7, so I had to push you all back by like 30 minutes. So starting from week 3, January 26th of 2026, well, instead of meeting from 7 to 8:30, we have to meet from 7:30 to 9. Okay, and it's going to be like that until the end of the module. And this is pretty much the play, right? So that first day, you can see by the length of this video, like we meet for 90 minutes, and so we really only have about 20 to 25 minutes for the orientation, where I would need more time. So that's why I was like, well, let me go ahead and do an updated orientation video, and then I'll rely on that. And then that'll leave us like 20 or 30 minutes for 1.7, and we need more time. So I'm going to try to push this to you all and try to encourage you to watch this video beforehand. And then when we meet live, if we need to go through the orientation, I'll take some time, not as much time, but I'm trying to take my time in this pre-recorded video so that I hit all the points in a comfortable pace. So oftentimes we don't have enough time during a live session to cover everything that we need to cover. So that, again, that's why I rely heavily on these pre-recorded lectures, where I can take my time, go through all the details, and then, the live sessions are really just like a brief summary of things that you should have come across during these pre-recorded lectures. Okay. All right. So we got our schedule and everything is there. Module B, I don't even think I updated that. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. But you don't have to worry about that. Okay. And that's it. Okay. So that was the syllabus. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, gentlemen. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end the session here. Again, if you have questions, write them down, call or text me anytime, or ask me during the live session. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the session here. And from one beautiful mind to another, have a wonderful day. Take care and peace.